Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Okay, lilihis muna tayo sa topic ng immigration. Maiba naman. Kayo ba ay katulad ko na mahilig mag-browse-browse sa Facebook Marketplace? Okay, alam ko many people actually are into selling and buying second-hand items on Facebook Marketplace. Sa episode na ito, meron tayong i-share dalawang reports, okay, involving people who engaged in transactions there na hindi maganda ang kinalabasan. Okay? Yeah, it's a reminder, guys, no? Na mag-ingat tayo lagi sa mga kausap natin dyan sa Facebook Marketplace. We all know, syempre, no? Kailangan din ng mabuting panunuri kung sino ang iyong mga kausap dyan. Kundi, baka matulad kayo dito sa mga pag-uusapan natin. Hindi si Mike. Hi, Mike Garcia, ang ating kaibigan na wala, mga kausap lang natin pag mga ganitong issue. Hi, Mike.
Ay, magandang umaga, tanghali at gabi sa mga manunood.
Ayan, sasamahan na naman ako ni Mike, okay? Dahil alam ko, siya din ay suki ng FB Marketplace. Tama ba? How often are you browsing dyan?
Almost every day. Tambay ako dyan eh. Kaya napapagastos ng wala sa oras eh.
Oo, ako rin, no? Kasi ang galing eh. Pati si Facebook Marketplace, di ba? Dahil sa kaka-search mo, parang may algorithm siya sa mga items na probably you will like. Kaya nang walang katapusan, no, sabi ko, uy, parang okay to. Uy, mura na to. Ganyan, no? Ganyan din ako, tambay din ako dyan. And nagbebenta rin ako paminsan-minsan dyan. I've met up with so many people because of Facebook Marketplace. And fortunately, wala pa naman akong masamang encounter. Ikaw ba, Mike, so far?
Meron na, pero hindi kasing bad na mga ninakaw or something. Siguro mga complaints lang. Ako nagko-complain, pero it is what it is. Minsan hinayaan ko na lang. Kasi marketplace, ganun talaga. Meron na yung nag-complain sa akin. After 3 weeks nang nabili yung goma, sinabi niya, meron daw problema. Sabi ko, nagamit mo na ng 3 weeks. Tapos, sasabihin mo sa akin ngayon, may problema. Hindi ko na babalik sa'yo.
Sasakyan?
Hindi, tires. Tires,
Yeah.
just the tires. Sabi niya, may problema daw yung tires na binenta ko sa kanya. Mura na nga lang, $50 sa 4. Maganda pa siya. So, most likely, na-curb niya yun, tapos nagka-problema, ngayon binibintang niya sa akin. So sabi niya, well, sige, hindi na siya lumaban sa akin kasi sabi ko, 3 weeks mo nang hawak yung sasakyan eh. Nakakabit sa sasakyan niya. So, it's a used tires, so it is what it is. Sabi kong gano'n.
Yeah.
Tapos binalik ko sa kanya yung 20 niya.
Aba, nagbalik ka pa ng konti.
Oo, kasi ibang lahi kasi siya.
Tapos, anong concern mo? But why did you feel the need to give $20 back?
Wala, para tumahimik na lang siya siguro.
Para wala nang issue, ano ba yan?
Oo.
Pero yung pag-uusapan natin, mas seryoso yung yung nangyari. Unahin natin itong sa Calgary. Akala ko nga una, Pilipino, pero hindi, no? I think Vietnamese kasi Nguyen yung apelido nung mag-asawa.
Yeah,
So the guy was selling laptops sa Facebook Marketplace, gaming laptops na parang nire-refurbish yata niya, yun yung ginagawa niya. So may mga dumating na 2 o 3 lalaki sa bahay niya mismo pinapunta, pinapasok. And then, sige, eto na, papakita na lang natin kung ano yung nangyari, no?
This is the first I've ever experienced something like this. So,
Newlywed Jason Nguyen regularly builds, refurbishes, and sells laptops online. Over the weekend, he posted an ad for a gaming laptop for sale and got interested buyers right away.
I want them to feel comfortable with purchasing such an expensive laptop. I want them to fully test it. So I'm telling them to test it, and they're telling me, go ahead and just box it up.
It turns out the buyers wanted the laptop but had no intention of paying.
I was gonna box it up and stuff like that, but then they pulled out the bear spray and they sprayed it all across my face, in my eyes, and they continuously sprayed At that point, I was blinded. I couldn't see anything at all. I just grabbed on to whatever I could grab on at the time, and it was the perpetrator, the person that sprayed me. And at that time, he went for the laptop, and then the other individual just went out the door right away. And because I held on to that guy, he dropped the laptop.
Because of the bear spray, like I can see anything, and the smell is so strong. So I follow him outside, and I see my husband is being dragged outside, and then I just see the shovel.
Once outside, one perpetrator re-enters the house to retrieve his phone that was dropped in the scuffle.
When he re-entered our home the second time, that's when I attacked him. My wife went in first and she grabbed a hold of him, and I didn't want anything to happen to her, so I started attacking him right away. I hit him in the head and I punched him. I brought him to the ground, and then my wife, she brought in a shovel. I took the handle and I started hitting him with the shovel.
And it's a reminder for all of us, myself included. I too have posted things online and had people come to my house. And we encourage Calgarians, if they're looking for a safe place, come down to our parking lot here. Come down to a district parking lot.
After sharing the video online, the Nguyen family says several others have shared video of similar experiences with suspects that match the same description. Police are still on the hunt for the suspects and are looking for as much doorbell and security cam footage as possible. Alyssa.
Okay. Oh, guys, this is from Global News. Pero it was reported in the different media outfits. Alam mo, so many things could have gotten worse pa, di ba, Mike? Buti walang weapon yung dalawang nagpretend na legitimate buyers, di ba?
Buti nga, bear spray lang and walang na-injure sa kanila or walang na-damage. I mean, yun lang, yung gamit lang. Kasi siguro moral lesson, kasi ako as a seller, I don't let my buyers go inside my house.
Yeah.
Usually sa driveway or hindi rin sa public places. Kasi sometimes the seller would think, bakit gusto mo sa public place? May tinatago ka siguro.
Oh.
So minsan, in good faith din, na legit ka talaga, wala kang choice kundi ibigay yung address mo and then meet them outside sa driveway. Kaya sa may malapit sa garbage bin, gano'n, doon nila i-test yung laptop. Ngayon kung winter, well, it's not a perfect time to sell your laptop kasi hindi mo matetest sa labas, malamig eh. Tapos I make sure that my front door is locked. So bago ko sila i-meet, lala ko na yung front door para at least safe na kung sino man yung tao sa bahay. Ako lang nasa labas. Together with the seller, with the buyer.
That's a good tip. Okay, if you are going to meet them outside your home, lock the door at the very least. Para if they attempt to enter, wala silang mapapala, mahirapan din sila.
Exactly. Now, for people who are living in an apartment or condo, wag dun sa main door nyo. Kung
Sa
pwede
lobby.
dun sa receiving area, sa lobby. Doon kayo mag-meet kung may mga tao. No, maraming tao, maraming makakakita.
Yeah. Okay. Ako din, actually, I've done both, no? Having somebody pick up an item from my house. Only outside. I do not recall letting anybody inside din naman talaga. And I've also done meetups in public parking spaces, yung mga ganyan. Which ako, Mike, medyo okay lang din naman. Kunyari sabihin nung seller sa akin, sige, kung gusto mo i-meet kita dun sa parking lot ng dollar store or something like that, or sa gasolinahan, okay lang din naman na sa akin yun. Kasi nga, feeling ko, baka sila rin yung mga nag-iingat na yung address nila, they don't want it to be given out to random people you meet on Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
Oo. Oo.
Tsaka, din, I have, meron din akong, parang, every time someone's, let's say I'm the seller, may magme-message sa akin, I have the habit of checking their profile.
Yeah, ako din. Yes.
Kasi, kung Pilipino, well, you know, it's safe yan. Pagka
Talaga?
medyo ibang
All the
lahi,
time?
especially kung si Regina lang, madali kitang
Yeah,
hanapin. Kasi.
no.
Tapos, I make sure I take a screenshot of your profile picture or your name para at least mabura mo niyan, meron akong record, pwede ko i-report sa police. If something happens, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So, tine-check ko yan. Tapos makikita mo, may mga reviews pa yan. Ganun ako pati yung mga pictures niya, kung talaga bang isa lang yung picture niya. Kasi some people, they will portray na ibang lahi sila, but they put North American names. Para nga naman, mukha kang legit. And they put a picture of someone else para legit.
Oo. That's true.
Yeah.
How about paying in cash? Alam mo, yung
Always.
some people only insist on receiving cash payment. Ayaw nilang binibigay yung bank, kahit email nila para dun sa banking transaction, mga ganyan. Kasi mas safe yung cash daw. Ikaw?
I will agree, especially kung may iba kasi nangihingi ng deposit. No matter gaano kaganda niya describe yung item or gaano ka-sincere yung dating ng message niya for the deposit, don't send any deposit or e-transfer. Always settle for cash for the first transaction. At least ma-meet mo man lang yung person, makita mo yung bahay, kung saan nakatira, mag-cash ka. Pero watch out din. Kung nabigay sa'yo ng address ng mas maaga before yung appointment time, check nyo sa Google Maps kung nasaan yung bahay niya. Baka mamaya, nasa neighborhood siya ng maraming,
May ganon?
addict or something, may dala kang cash. They would know you have a cash. Pwede ka na lang isnabin doon.
Oh, okay. Ako naman, dati, nagbibigay ako, parang okay lang sa akin magbibigay ng reservation. Kumbaga, akin na yan pero dahil mapipick up ko pa in a few days, wag mo nang ibigay sa iba, ito na muna, like, 50% nung cost or something. Pero ngayon, parang ayoko na siya gawin. I've realized, napakadaling hindi na lang ako replyan, tapos sa kanila na yung down payment na binigay ko. 'Di ba? Kung ayaw nilang maghintay at hindi mo na makukuha on time, let it be na lang. Kumbaga, maghanap ka na lang ng ibang item na mas convenient yung schedule ninyo o magmamatch yung schedule ninyo.
Oo. At saka, as a seller naman, there are some people that will insist, always send an e-transfer now, tapos pick upin ko on this specific date kasi ganito. Huwag ka rin pumayag na mga holds na ganyan. Kasi, sometimes, may mas magandang offer na darating. If they really are interested with that item, what you're selling, they will do everything they can to get that item immediately.
Yeah. Okay.
Yan yung psychology ng marketplace ngayon eh.
Yeah. Oo. Ay, nako. Eto, balikan natin pala si Kuya, no? Sa totoo lang, nung nakita ko na yung itsura ng dalawang buyer niya, magdududa ka na sa itsura, naka-mask silang dalawa, all black, parang, and yet, very trusting pa din si Kuya at hinayaan niyang pumasok, 'di ba? Again, so many things could have gone wrong pa talaga na parang nilock yung pinto and then sinaktan silang mag-asawa doon, 'di ba? It's so scary. Please do not ever do that. Oo. Ay, nako.
At saka, as a buyer din, dapat, ako kasi marami akong mga ganyan situation. As much as possible, gusto ko nauuna ako doon sa meeting place or maybe sa bahay. Sasabihin ko, okay, 6:30. Pero 6:50 nasa bahay na ako. Nakaabang na ako sa darating na buyer. If I see the buyer na medyo suspicious, pagbabang sa sasakyan, okay, medyo prepare na ako dapat nito.
Before we move on, doon sa next video, by the way, I've shared this in an episode more than 1 year, 2 years ago. Oh, more than a year ago yata. I had a bad experience on Facebook Marketplace patungkol dun sa payment method nga, no? Meron ako binibenta na napakamura nga lang, nakalimutan ko na gamit ni Luna, parang $10, ganyan. Somebody messaged and said, bibili niya na. Okay, pero hindi daw niya mapipick up agad. Sabi ko, it's okay, sige, I'll just hold the item. I didn't even ask for a deposit or what. Sabi niya, hindi na, ito na yung bayad. Nag-insist siya na bayaran niya. Hiningi niya yung bank transfer details ko. So, I gave my email. And then, sabi ko pa noon, no, it's okay, it's okay. So, nagkaganon pa kaming balikan. Until nagpadala, biglang tanong, okay, nakuha mo na ba? Ngayon, walang email alert. Diba? Usually, you get an email alert from your bank. Sabi ko, wala pa but it's okay. Sabi niya, wala pa, na-send ko na kasi, try mo tong link na to, ito na, lumabas ang aking, siguro kulang ang sustansya ng pag-iisip ko nung time na yon. Kinlik ko, and then, it brought me to a banking, what looked like a legitimate bank website.
Yeah.
na sinasabi, okay, deposit your money here. Ano yung bangko mo? Click naman ako dun sa bangko ko. And then, it brought me to an interface na eksaktong-eksakto nung bangko ko na hiningi yung aking username at password para nga ma-deposit ko daw yung payment. Ito na. Pinasok ko ngayon. And then, akala ko napasok na. Sabi ko, okay na, ganito, ganyan. So when are you gonna pick up the item? And then, hindi na ako nireplyan at all. 5 minutes later, the bank of CIBC fraud department calls me and says, this is from the fraud department. Are you trying to send money? Parang ganyan. Sabi ko, is this about the $10 na payment? Sabi nung babae, oh no, it's not $10, it's $1,800. So dahil peki yung website na pinaglagyan ko ng aking username at password na access nila right then and there, real time yung account ko. At sabi ko nga, buti hindi sinimo, talagang nagtira 1,800 lang siguro ang nasa isip nila, baka akala nila hindi magti-trigger ng alert sa fraud department or something like that.
oo.
Okay, so buti na lang ang bilis ng CIBC at that time. Sabi ko, no, it's not me. So they halted the transfer.
Oh, that's good. Buti na-catch nila.
And then, nung nakita ko yung email ko, meron doon, are you about to transfer ganito to ganyan? May name na lumabas doon, hindi ko nasasabihin kung ano sounding nung pangalan. Pero ayun, napigilan ng CIBC, but they had to freeze my account. And diba, you know how it is here, diba? Yung isang portal mo, kunyari sa CIBC, meron akong checking, may savings, may dollar account ako.
Yeah.
Lahat yun kinailangan nilang isara dahil may access na siya sa password ko.
Exactly.
And then I had to open new accounts for each and every one. Tapos yung mga naka-auto debit ko, kailangan ko ilipat dun sa mga palitan yung mga... It's such a hassle. So
It is,
lesson
yes.
learned.
For security.
Nakakainis, di ba? Pero parang totoo talaga na interested. No, it's okay. I can just, I'll just give it the money to you. Ganito, ganyan. Ay, naku na. Biktima na rin ako ng Facebook Marketplace.
Oo.
Okay.
Meron pa akong experience na nakakatawa. Before the COVID time, ito iba naman to. Ibang scenario. Sinakyan ko. May seller. Alam mo kung ano binibenta?
Oh.
Hindi ka maniniwala. Pustiso.
Nakakainis.
Sinakyan ko.
Nakakainis.
Promise. Dapat pala in-screen. Totoo. Hindi ko lang na-screenshot. Alam mo, sinakyan ko. Tapos sabi ko, is this still available? Tapos may follow-up question ako, why are you selling it? Sumagot naman si hindi ko alam kung sino siya, parang bata pa eh. So sabi niya, oh, because I don't need it anymore. Sabi ko, ako naman si Sakay, parang matawa. Anong size ng pustiso? Kasi hindi ko alam kung kakasya sa lolo ko. Hindi.
Seryoso ba to, Mike? Niloloko mo na naman ako.
Promise. Hindi ko lang talaga nakuha ng screenshot. Pero katuwaan, talaga sinakyan ko yung mga
Binili mo?
message. Hindi ko binili. Wala lang. Patawa ko lang.
Nakipag-chatmate ka lang doon sa nagbebenta ng postiso.
Kasi nagulat ako. Tapos sa post niya, that time, ang daming mga laughing face. Di ba sa Facebook, pwede ka maglagay ng like or laughing face. Ang daming laughing face kasi postiso. So I'm not really sure kung yung taong yung may sayad or talaga nagpapatawa lang din. Ako naman sinakyan ko.
Wala kang magawa nung araw na iyon.
I think so.
Nakakaloka ka. Ay, nako. Okay, sige, puntahan na natin yung next report. Ito naman, bumili ng kotse. Marami ring nagbebenta ng kotse on Facebook Marketplace. Wait, may ad, kaya papalipasin ko lang to. Ikaw, you are, into cars in a way, Mike. Would you ever buy a car on Facebook Marketplace or saan mo mas preferred bumili?
Ako, kaya kong bumili ng... Okay, depende kasi yan. Kung if you have the know-how about cars, mechanically and lahat, bumibili talaga ako sa marketplace.
Okay.
Whether marketplace or sa kasi meron ako tumingin. Pero if you're the kind of person na hindi mo tumingin, I would advise na you ask someone who knows. He knows talaga, like mga tipong who have used this car, marunong mag-ayos, or meron siyang at least mechanic background, na sumama sa'yo para to check the car itself.
Alright. Okay. O sige. Ito. Sige. Ang sabi yata ni buyer, tinesting naman daw niya yung sasakyan. Pero nung inuwi na niya, nung binili na niya, the following day, something went wrong. Okay? Sige, ipi-play ko. This time is from CTV News.
So this is it. So it looks like a very nice car. I really thought I got a nice deal.
Maria Tucci wanted to help her daughter by getting her a used car. She saw the ad on Marketplace for the 2018 Nissan Versa. Low mileage, extra clean, and supposedly well maintained.
It drove good when I tried it. So there's a perfect car for my daughter. It's like the outside is nice. It was clean inside.
She bought it for $8,400 cash, but by the time she got home with it, the car was not running so well anymore.
Drive it around the block. I couldn't even make it to the corner. I had to come back because it was conking and sa danidiku.
She called the seller.
Then I called him back. He hangs up on me.
Nako.
He hung up on me. And I tried 3-4 times. I sent in texts, nothing.
Her Nissan's transmission was shot. Cost of repair, $6,000. According to George Eny from the Automobile Protection Association, Tucci was likely the victim of a so-called curbside seller.
So they're selling cars often out of their driveway, or they offer to meet you at a public location. They're buying junk that from dealers often who don't want to retail them. They're vehicles they wouldn't retail themselves. And then they will sort of cosmetically clean them up maybe a little bit, maybe hide some deficiencies, and they'll lure you by telling you that it's their personal vehicle. And
Tucci admits the seller, who goes by the name of Sean Ricardo, was convincing. She didn't bother getting a mechanical inspection, and she said she saw the Carfax report confirming the car was legit, but soon realized the document was missing pages. Maria went to police, and they told her that the best way to find out about the true past of a car was to go on the SAQ Clicks website. And for a $15 fee, you can get a printout of every owner. The SACLIC website shows every past transaction involving the car. Maria discovered the car had in fact 9 previous owners. The last one was a Montreal area scrapyard, a sign the car was probably worthless.
but with a car like this one, the cost of the repair is almost the value of the car.
We did a search on Marketplace and found that the man who sold the car to Tucci was still listing a car for sale, a similar Nissan from the same year. Maria, this the guy who sold you the car?
Yes, it is.
We reached out to Sean Ricardo. Yeah, hi, Mr. Ricardo. This is Stéphane Ziou from CTV News. He hung up on us. In a text message exchange, he wrote, "If she has any issues, she's welcome to take me to small claims court." Tucci says she plans to do just that. And the
Okay.
Yeah.
So mukhang pupunta pa sa small claims court, ano. What are your thoughts on this, Mike? Kunyari, nabili na, na-test na niya, okay daw. Pero not even 2 days later, nagpakita na ng defect, okay, ng problema dun sa kotse. Anong palagay mo mangyayari dito?
Well, looking at the situation na binili niya, so nag-test drive siya. Okay, I'm just looking at both sides of the situation na hindi lang sa buyer. Na-test drive niya, naiuwi pa niya. So after 2 days, nagkaroon ng defect. Yung sinasabi niyang transmission problem, kung meron talaga siyang transmission problem in the first place, maramdaman na niya on the day na nag-test drive siya. Kasi hindi yan magiging smooth ng ride niya. Para siyang rocking chair kapag may problema yung or late yung pag-shift ng gear and anything. But anyways, going back, mahirapan siyang manalo sa small claims court, lalo na if she signed a document, yung bill of sale, na nakalagay sold as is. It is what it is. Yun ang batas eh. I'm not sure about sa Quebec, pero sa Saskatchewan, ganun ang sasabihin sa ng korte, well, it's a used vehicle sold by a private seller. Mahirap nang habulin yan kasi nag-test drive ka naman and you sign the document na you are sole responsible for the vehicle. So wala nang kinalaman diyan ang buyer, ang seller. So I think the safest way to do that, kung wala kang masyadong alam sa sasakyan, find someone or maybe a mechanic, magbayad ka ng $100 to check the vehicle on the spot. Kasi ang sellers, let's say mga curb sellers na yan, hindi nila, it's not, parang hindi need na magdumaan sa inspection. As long as the car can be plated or or mabigyan ng insurance, it's valid na mabibili mo yung sasakyan. Pero kasi yung inspection, based yan sa ano mo na lang, magdala ka ng mechanic or someone who knows the car to test it properly. Pero kasi even the inspection, let's say in-inspect niya on the day itself na binili sa sasakyan, physical inspection lang yan eh. Test drive nila, okay, running. So after 2 days, masira, what now?
Yeah.
So hindi pa rin, mahirap pa rin manalo yung case niya kasi na-test drive niya. Masama kung hindi niya na-test drive.
Unfortunately, no, kung ganun. By the way, guys, syempre, ito pong pag-uusap namin ni Mike, we are no car expert sa mga buy and sell transactions, sa mga legalities. Yeah, we're just sharing our opinion. If you have expertise on this matter, perhaps you can share your thoughts down there in the comment section. Okay? Ang iniisip ko naman, Mike, paano kunyari involved in a scheme, a scam, parang sinasabi ng lalaki, no, na meron daw palang mga tao na bumibili talaga ng mga hindi na mabenta-benta dahil sira na sa mga dealers. That's what they buy with the intention of, duping people para pagkakitaan. Hindi rin pala nila pwedeng habulin yung mga ganon in that case. Basta binili pa rin nila willingly.
Oo, may iba ganon ginagawa. Kasi as long as you can plate the car, hindi na masyado, ewan ko sa Saskatchewan kasi ganon eh. As long as napi-plate mo siya, at transferable siya to the next owner, wala silang pake kung ano man yung history noon. Kaya mas maganda kung, well, you have to pay for Carfax or something like a software ganyan na system so you would know the history ng sasakyan. By the way, by the way, nakita ko yung Quebec where they enter the VIN number to check the history of the vehicle. That's probably provincial. It doesn't apply to any other provinces. Baka Quebec lang yun.
Ganun ba? At hindi rin ako sure, no? Hindi nga ako nagmamaneho, guys, so sinabi ko sa inyo. And I'm no car expert, pero yung sinasabi mo na yung transmission, baka talagang tsumempo na nasira lang na right after niya bumili. Hindi ba naman manipulate yun ng isang malokong tao na gumagawa niyan? Baka naman yung tipong during the testing period, pwede niyang ayusin yung kotse in a way na, sige, hindi yan magma-malfunction in the next hour or so. Yung mga ganon.
Mahirap eh, kasi mechanical yan eh. Hindi siya computerized na lalagyan mo ng timer. Unless it could be something else. Baka hindi rin transmission, baka it's something else.
Yeah. All right.
Oo.
Okay, well, ayun guys ingat-ingat kayo. Siyempre, iba-ibang uri na tao ang nandyan sa Facebook Marketplace. Kung ako ang tatanungin, will it stop me from browsing through my marketplace and buying items? Sa totoo lang, I don't think so. I will continue to buy and sell items there. But again, with much more precautions, na nasa isip natin. Ikaw din, Mike, tuloy-tuloy pa din ang pagtambay mo dyan.
Oo.
Maghanap ka ng postiso.
Wala na eh.
Okay. Ay, ano yun, Mike?
Wala na yung postiso eh.
May bumili
Baka
na.
nabili na.
I know. Okay, so that is it for this episode. If you have experiences din dyan na gusto nyo i-share, put them in the comment section. And yeah, or add sa insights tungkol dito sa mga na-report, no, yung mga naloko. Kung meron din kayong sarili ninyong tips. We will end this episode here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Mike. Bye!
Okay, bye. Thank you.